What's up, everybody? It's Kev, your life coach, and in this video, I want to talk about failure. What is failure? Me personally, I don't believe in failure in the context that it's usually spoken of, right? For me, this is what failure means. Failure is something that I embrace, right? Because I see failure as a good thing. I see failure as a beautiful thing, right? One reason why I see failure as a beautiful thing is because failure will oftentimes just let you know that you're going the wrong way. And it will redirect you. Failure will get you to, just start thinking about your life and the choices you're making, and maybe, like whether you should consider doing something different. For example, you pursue, you go after a job, right? You see a job is hiring, you need a job, you go, you fill out an application, and you do the interview, and you don't get the job, right? So, some people would consider that as a failure, in some way you failed in the interview process. But how I would look at that, I would just conclude that that wasn't the job for me, and that's just not where I'm supposed to be, and there's something better in store, right? So now just imagine if failure wasn't there, right? And so you did the interviewing process and you were hired, right? Now you're working somewhere where you shouldn't even be, which means you're outside of your purpose and you're outside of alignment with your purpose, right? So that's one reason why I see failure as a beautiful thing. It lets you know that you're going the wrong way and you're pursuing the wrong thing. And again, the beauty of that is that means that there's something better for you, right? Now, another reason I see failure as a beautiful thing is because you always learn something through failure. You always learn something. Like, failure will cause you to just sit back and reflect on yourself, on your ways, on your life, right? It causes you to just, analyze, your situation, right? It causes you to take a really deep look at yourself. And you start asking yourself questions like, why did this happen? Like, what am I doing wrong? You look at yourself in a way that you wouldn't normally look at yourself if everything was going the way you wanted it to go, right? And the danger of that, again, is if everything's going the way you want it to go and everything's going smoothly, you could potentially be missing out on something much greater, right? So, and this is also why I don't believe in failure, because if you learn something from what's considered failure, then is that really failure? Right? If you are able to analyze a situation that you failed in, but then you learn a lesson or multiple lessons from that situation, from that failure. Is it then failure? And this brings me to the third reason why I embrace failure, and I think failure is a beautiful thing. Because I see failure just as a different method of learning, right? And as, I guess, the universe is like a different method of teaching, right? By God or the universe or whatever you call that higher power, you know, if you believe in one. You know, I see it as just a different way of teaching us things that we need to learn. Things that we otherwise would not learn without failure, right? It's just a different way of teaching, because failure, it doesn't feel good, right? It doesn't feel wonderful. And it hurts, you know, especially depending on the degree of failure. You know, it can be painful, but that hurt and that pain, there's always something that you can take away from that. There's always something that you learn from that. And because we don't like to hurt and we don't like pain, we'll usually make adjustments, you know, and the purpose of those adjustments that we make is so we don't go through that same experience and that same hurt and that same pain again, right? So I don't, you know, I mean, look at all the good that can come out of what we consider failure. If we embrace it and we use it for what it's intended for, and that is to just do some self-reflecting and to just, you know, sit down somewhere alone and just think about our life and the choices we made and how did, you know, we get in this particular situation and what can we do better and how can we be better, right? It kind of forces you to ask those questions and to reflect on your life in those ways and on yourself and the type of person you are, right? Because again, if everything was, you know, hunky-dory, you know, we wouldn't do those things. Chances are, you know, I'll say chances are the majority of us, we wouldn't do those things. You know, it's like how they say, you know, when they talk about prayer, you know, a lot of times people say that, you know, most people wouldn't even pray if they never had a problem, right? It's like for religious people, except for Muslims, because, you know, Muslims, they pray, I believe, like 5 times a day, right? Period. But say like other religions that, you know, believe in prayer, you know, this is what's commonly said about them, that they wouldn't even pray if they didn't have a problem. And, you know, I find that true with myself, and, you know, you may find that true with yourself. Like, if you never went through failure or pain or difficulties or challenges or different things like that, that hurt, you know, would you do any self-reflecting? If everything was going the way you wanted it to go, right? It's like, well, what would be the point of self-reflecting? What would be the point of analyzing my life and, asking those questions and, taking a look at myself and inside and, what do I need to change? What do I need to do better? How can I be better? Right? So overall, the purpose of failure is to make you better. And it will if you're not offended by it, right? To the point to where you just kind of like harden your heart and just refuse to do any self-checking, right? But if you allow failure to do what it's intended to do, and if you cooperate with failure, it's beautiful, and it will make you a better person. All right, so that's all for this video. I hope this helps. I hope this kind of causes you to see failure differently, and the next time you fail in something, which you will, and it's a part of life. Oh, I just had another point that I want to mention before I wrap this up. This is point number 4, another reason why failure is so beautiful and to be embraced, right? Because failure is a part of success. There's so many good things about failure. Like I forget all of them sometimes, but failure is a part of success. Like you cannot have success without failure, right? Excuse me. And on your road to success in whatever it is you're pursuing, failure helps you get one step closer to that success, right? Anytime you're trying something new, you're gonna fail. It's a part of the recipe, right? When you embrace those failures, you learn from them, you juice them for everything you can, right? And you just soak up all the knowledge and wisdom that you can from that failure. You take that with you and you move forward and you apply those lessons that you learned from that previous failure. It's making you better. I think I don't know, I might mess this quote up. I believe, though, it was Benjamin Franklin in his, on the road to him, inventing a light bulb, that said, because it was reported that he failed, I believe, like 1,000 times or 1,001 times, and, just on his journey of inventing a light bulb. And his perspective was, I have not failed. I just found 1,000 ways or 1,001 ways that didn't work, right? So it's like, once you eliminate all the ways that don't work and all the things that don't work, you're bound to find what does work. I think he had the right perspective on that, right? Every failure brings you closer to success. I talk about this in my book, but, think of it like, a recipe. Like if there was a recipe for success, like there's a recipe for baking a cake or something, right? if there was a recipe for success, the ingredients would be things like discipline, right? Patience, consistency, hard work, commitment, dedication, passion, and failure. Failure would be one of the ingredients in the recipe for success, right? It's necessary. Like you can't have success without failure. So that's just another reason why you should embrace failure. It's like I believe it's this saying is common with salesmen, right? But every no brings you closer to a yes. And salesmen have an actual formula, right? And it's different in different markets, but basically that formula breaks down how many no's you have to get a yes or to get a sale, right? So basically, unless you should happen to somehow be an exception to the rule, the goal is to pursue them no's, because every no gets you closer to a yes. So if I remember talking to a young lady about this. She was going door to door, knocking on doors, trying to get people to switch over their utilities, right? And I forgot what the number was. She said, I think she said it's like 80 no's or something like that to one sale. I don't remember the number, but this was just one of the people that I've talked to that told me that they have like this actual formula, right? That's encouraging. It helps you to embrace those no's, those rejections, those failures, right? Because again, every failure brings you another step closer to success. Understanding that, you can deal with the rejection and the no's, totally differently. It makes it easier to embrace them because you're getting closer to the goal. All right. So that's all that I got to say for now about failure. Well, not really, but I'm gonna wrap this up here. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. I hope this helps you to look at failure differently. If you've never looked at failure like this before, as I said, I don't believe in it because it's just a necessary element of success. It's just part of the process, right? And there's so many benefits from what we call failure, right? So that's all for this video. Hit that like button if you like this video. Subscribe to my channel if you like to see more videos, positive and encouraging videos like this. And if you know someone that could benefit from any of my videos, share the video with them, share the channel with them. Got any comments, drop them in the comments. Any questions, if you got a video you like me to, or a topic you'd like me to make a video about, drop it in the comments. Also, I'd love to know where you're watching from, and if you're new to the channel, how you found out about my channel. All right, y'all. Till next time, this is Kev, your life coach, and I'm out. Baby.